Hey, you guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the Chop It Up podcast. I am your host, Miss Kamisha Superville. As you guys know, this is the home of pure, unfiltered conversation by today's most innovative mind.
Really trailblazing the way and setting examples for future generations to come.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah, women is just, to me, just equal strength. So
Yes, absolutely. And so we met recently at the International Women's Conference. What were some of
yes.
your takeaways? Let me just tell you real quick. I had such a great time. I enjoy your panel. You spoke so organically and it really touched me. You spoke about women in finance, right? Right,
Yes, it
right,
was
right.
women, money, and investments. And thank you so much. It was my first time on a panel, so it was very interesting, and I had a lot of takeaways and built some really great relationships from it. One of the takeaways that I got was being yourself. Um, you know, growing and then arriving at yourself and then living in that space, right? Walking in purpose, being who you are, and being unapologetically you, right?
Yeah.
I feel like as women, oftentimes we kind of lower our standards because we don't think we fit in certain places, especially in male dominated industries. And we can serve and also lead as well. And we can also exceed in some cases.
Yes, absolutely. You know, it's funny that you said that because I remember my past life. My listeners know I have a past life, right?
Yes, I heard
We
about it.
all
I've
do.
heard about the past life.
Right, right. In my past life, I actually worked for in corporate America, but more so in a very male dominated setting. So sales. You know, a lot of times sales, especially old school sales, like outdoor and stuff like that, it was very heavily male dominated. And so within the department that I work in, like most of the guys was crushing it. Ukura, I'm talking about they were making 35, mad dough. Like at the end of
Right.
2 weeks, because we used to get paid bi-weekly, they were
Yeah.
killing it. Commission checks were like 5K, 10,000. Like it was crazy. It wasn't a lot of females that were making those numbers.
Right.
And I remember one year when they were granted, when most of my colleagues were granted presidential club awards. And I said most of them were guys. And I said to myself, I said, nah, next year I'm gonna be in the presidential club. And
Right.
Ukara, when I tell you I worked my butt off, I literally became kind of like aggressive in a sense, kind of like I kind
A
of
powerhouse.
right. But the thing about it is, I had to kind of shift my femininity to kind of be more like the guys, not necessarily be masculine, but their approach to closing deals,
Right.
their approach to closing these accounts. And so
Right.
you're absolutely right. Sometimes we do have to shift, our attitude when we're in certain spaces, like you mentioned,
Right.
male dominated. So I know in the financial industry, it's very much male dominated even today.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
Yes. Talk about your experience. What has that been? What has that been like?
It's been quite interesting. I recently came from a break of self-discovery, rebranding and rebuilding, and I had to come to, so to speak, and realizing that the industry that I am in is a very male dominated industry. Finance is heavily male dominated. Most of the conversations you hear about when it comes to economics or finance, there's a lot of men at the table. And so being a woman who shows up every day to sit at this table, at first it was a little daunting. You're just like, man, am I able to keep up? Are my opinions as are they taken the same way? And I had to realize, approaching businesses and talking to other business people, that you have to change your approach, and as a woman, sometimes we can have male characteristics, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? And we can hang with the boys. I'm sure we have brothers, we have husbands, and sometimes even male best friends. And I feel like, just because we put on that persona doesn't make us masculine, right? We just have to use our dominance and put our best foot forward and actually utilize the knowledge that we learn and take on and see in an example of other strong women. And so in my rebranding phase, I had to look at other women who step on their own. And one of my best friends, my inner circle, they're all leaders in their own right. And I'm just so proud to be a part of that. And so that pushes me to also become a leader and someone who can sit at the table with other executive leadership.
I love that. You said that so eloquently. You said that better than
Thanks.
me, actually.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I feel like today more than ever, I feel like there's such a large conversation that one needs to be had about women and men and that relationship, right? That dynamic. Just even last night, I was watching something online, and it was the commentator. It was like very combative,
Right.
just the example that he gave between, relationship between men and women was very combative. And in the comments, it was the same thing. It was like these tactics of war of the sex. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what you said is so vital, because it's not about necessarily being too much of one, sex or the other, but it's about your approach, and it's
Right.
about standing in your truth. And if you have to be stoic in certain situation, it's about, showing that strength, the strength of
Right.
a man, the strength of a woman, and how we can complement each other. So I love that. I love that. And also too, a lot of times in rooms where we are not necessarily the dominance, it's also about having our male colleagues and counterparts also provide us with that space, right? And
Right.
validate our opinion. I think that's the main thing now in culture, is that we have to validate each other and
Right.
hold room for different thinking and thought processes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have a male mentor, and he's been, since the beginning of my career. And he has allowed me to step in and show up and support me in areas in which I felt like, man, I don't belong here, or, no one's hearing me, right? No one's taking what I say seriously. And so he says, no, you show up, you be you, and it will come. The confidence is what you need. And a lot of men, even when they don't know what they're doing, they have so much confidence. So it's like,
Yeah.
why not just show up and act like it, right? And I feel like as women, sometimes we just have to really own it and know that we can do it, because a lot of times, we could do it better than men anyway, right?
Right, right.
Look at history. If
Exactly.
history tells us anything, when men went out to war and fought all those things, women stepped up, we came in the workforce and we made it better. And therefore we fought for that equality, and now we're here and we're here to stay.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Also, COVID has really taught us the importance, right? How essential we are to the household, right? To the
Right.
economy as
Correct.
well. Absolutely. So I definitely agree. In that vein, let's segue a little bit into how important are the benefits of empowering other women in your organization. What are the benefits for empowering women within your organization?
Oh, there's so many benefits. Number one, just the topic alone, the collaborating over competition. We don't always have to stab each other in the back, right? We
Speak on
can
it.
we can collaborate and we can share ideas and we can complement each other and push each other to grow in different areas that we may not be so strong in. Because I think that when people are the same, especially women, we can't truly grow, right? We learn from differences, we learn from differential thinking, and that's the only way we really can benefit.
Absolutely. I agree. I definitely agree. So, it's so funny because that phrase, right? Collaboration over competition. It's so catchy. It's so embraced, like, we embrace it so much, but a lot of times we don't apply it, right? And
Right.
in so many ways, whether in our personal relationship with our sisters, or in our business environment, or at our workplace. If I'm going for a promotion, you're going for promotion, sometimes we can be very catty. So
Right.
what does that really mean, collaboration over competition? And for a listener out there who's listening, how have you shown that in your daily work?
The first thing that comes to mind is there is enough for everyone to eat, right? There are so many different opportunities out there that although we're at this one organization, what's for you will always be for you, right? And so we shouldn't have to fight aggressively over the same position. If someone else got it, we support them, we congratulate them, we live in their excellence. And then we take a step back and figure out, why didn't I get it? What do I need to work on in order to put my best foot forward the next time? And then if that situation is not going to arise for you in the moment, then you have to look elsewhere where there's more opportunities for you to eat, right? And so, because the only thing that comes from holding each other back is you holding yourself back.
Mm,
You hold your energy back, you hold your opportunities back. No one wants to work with you. You pretty much isolate self. And so, in order to collaborate and move forward, it's really just supporting and truly being happy for someone else. Because when you're happy and when you can be happy for other people, that's when opportunities actually open themselves up to you.
I love that. I love that. That sounds so eloquently. But girl, we live in the real world, right? So
No, you're
yeah,
absolutely right.
yeah,
But what it looks like is it hurts, right? If someone else gets that promotion, it's gonna hurt. It will hurt. But why didn't you get it? And I think sometimes the realistic approach is really to look within. What is it about you, right? Not all the time are opportunities for you. And you also have to be careful what you wish for, because a lot of times, and sometimes for myself, I have thought about and asked for and worked so hard for opportunities that didn't fit me. And so sometimes you have to say, you know what, is this right for me? Let me take a step back. And so sometimes that may not, it's not going to be pretty. Life is not a bed of roses, but at the same time, you have to go through those struggles in order to get back to where you need to be. And that's really evaluating yourself and then trying to be there for others. And so the more you put others first is when your opportunities begin to grow and blossom.
I love that. I love that. And I could definitely receive that. You are absolutely right. I think that is such a good takeaway from this conversation, because I think so many times, the upward trajectory where we are just, thinking about self, right? And we are moving through life, right? And I think sometimes, even as human beings, if we can just take a step back and give more, give our time more, volunteer some more, give of ourselves some more, even when it hurts, like you said, even when
Right,
it's a sacrifice, right? Even when it's
right,
an inconvenience, the opportunities and the blessings, right? The
right.
blessings come and the blessings flow, and they flow in so many different ways. It's so funny you said that, because I am sitting on the heel of having an opportunity to travel internationally. And Ukara, when I tell you God is so good, I literally found out about this last minute. Last
Mm,
minute, I found out about this trip, and I said, "Oh my God, I've been praying for this. I really been working towards this, right?" And
right,
look, this opportunity is in my you know toolkit. But how do I fund it? How do I travel? How do I raise funds and capital? To travel. And when
right,
I tell you, I tapped into my network. I tapped in inward. I didn't have to go externally. I tapped into my network. And because I've shown up so many times for my people, so many times for other folks.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, people said, "How can I help?" All right,
Mm-hmm.
let me get back to you in a day. Let me look at my finances and see how we can get you to where you want to go. And literally within making a few outbound calls and reaching out to my friends and my colleagues, I was able to raise the initial funds in order to travel. And
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
yeah, that's a blessing.
It
It's not
is.
only,
It
it's
really
a
is.
blessing when you pour into others by
Yes.
nature, and because we live in a natural world and a spiritual world, God allows things and opportunities to pour back into you. And
Yes. I was
so,
going to say amen on that.
yes,
I
yes,
definitely agree.
yes, absolutely.
But
And
that's
so I'm
wonderful.
just, yeah, absolutely. And I'm so grateful. And this is opportunities. These were blessings by both my male and my female counterparts. So I do believe in this empowerment, and empowering a woman. You really empower a nation. When you
Right.
empower a girl, you empower
Right.
a nation, you empower a community, you light the world.
Right.
You
Right.
light the world. It's so imperative. Absolutely.
It
So
is.
yeah. So let's talk about, there's still a conversation about equity and equality as it relates to women empowerment. What, in terms of your opinion or what you have experienced, is the lack of empowerment an equality or equity issue?
Now, that is a very powerful question. I think as women, for both equity and equality, we've always been behind. And I think with us working to consistently collaborate and work together to strengthen ourselves, we can actually build on both. However, I feel that there isn't enough equity. We do not have enough seats at the table in order to even try to fight for equality where male dominated industries are concerned, right? And the only way to truly do that is to uplift and work together and collaborate, because where I can't fit, I can help you get there. Because as long as one of us are there, then we can turn around and put that hand out to help each other build up. Because if we're not there, we can't get in.
That's a fact, you know,
It is. And so
and
I feel with, just, and again, going back to your network is your net worth, right? Who you know makes a huge and powerful difference, right? Because when I was, out of work for, I had stayed home. I think I had spoke about this at the conference, wanting to stay home with my son, but then COVID got in the way. I was applying to jobs and trying to get out there. But then I realized, I have to look at who's already working, right, in my network, and then how can they help me? I've never asked for help before. As women, we don't like asking for help because we could do it. We're so powerful. We're
not me,
independent.
girl. Not me, girl. I'm fragile.
But
I'm
I had
fragile, girl.
to, well, I know for me, I don't like asking for help. I could do everything by myself. And
Amen.
I had
Phenomenally.
but I had to say, no, this is enough. You have
Yes.
to ask for help, and it is important too. So I had to reach out to my network, and most of them are women. And so, I had directors, other, industry leaders, and they put out their word for me. And then, of course, what do you think happens? Opportunities
Mm,
begin to show up because they know you best. The people who work with you, right? They know what you're capable of, and they can actually project as well as edify what you've done. So therefore, you don't have to walk alone with all of this experience that you have, and you're trying to market yourself and you're trying to say, I could do it too. But they can help you too. And that's the purpose of equity and helping each other get a seat at the table so that they can say, I know her. she could do it, and she can come up and she can lead this business or that sector or this industry or this branch or anywhere else in these industries where we are
I
not.
love that. I love that. And I agree 100%. You're so funny you said that, because I remember when I was career searching and somebody told me about an opportunity. And so I reached out to this agency, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And we were talking with the HR manager, and she said to me, "Oh my gosh, you're super talented. You have all these skill sets. Why we can create an opportunity for you. We can create a job description for you, right?" So I was like, "All right, bet." So I studied, you know, I decided on, okay, I want to be the director of inclusion, da da da. And so I sent her everything, Ukura, and she was still kind of like on the back burner, kind of like, "Oh, I don't really think, because you know, we already have someone in that role." And she was just giving me the vibe that y'all didn't really want, y'all was just entertaining me. Y'all really wasn't
Right,
looking to hire me. And you know what
right.
I did? I tapped in. I tapped into my network, and I reached out to a colleague who's super successful. And I said, "Hey, listen, I'm in between jobs right now. Do you have any projects that I can work with you on?" And
Mhm.
girl, little did I know, she was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, Kamisha, I actually do." And she and I
Mhm.
worked towards a contract with the city of New York. We bet
What?
on yes, we bet on a contract,
Yeah.
and we won, and we worked that together.
Oh,
So
that's
you are
amazing.
absolutely, you're so right. Really and truly, we have to take advantage of the people that we know within our community ecosystem. We got to tap inward, and we also got to make sure we are fostering the right relationships. It can't
Yes.
it can't be a
Yes.
relationship, you Corin. You can speak to this, where you're taking, but
Right.
you're
And
not
there's
pouring
no
back in.
pouring back in, right? Right.
Exactly.
You can't
Exactly.
grow what you don't put in.
That's it. That's it. And so many times we, especially within certain communities, we have a me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
approach. It has to
Mm-hmm.
be a collaborative approach. It has to be very applicable, very much seen. It can't be
Right.
like you're taking on more of the risk and I'm just chilling, you know? So
And it's
that's
funny you
also,
mentioned that. I
yeah.
had there was a woman who coached me once, and this was a few, I would say maybe about 5 or so years ago, and it stuck with me since. And in talking to her, she said to me, "All I'm hearing is I." And so I was like, okay, because I did it, you know.
Yes.
But what stuck with me is, if you're a leader, how are you giving back, right?
Mm,
How are you serving the people who are under you? And so once I connected leadership with service,
mm.
then was when I started to become successful, because I didn't truly understand that leadership is not about just self and leading other people and telling people what to do. It's truly showing up on how can I help. Now, I took that from New Amsterdam. I love that show. But
Yeah.
the beautiful thing about that one sentence, how can I help? It just works wonders, because people are one taken aback because who says that, right? How can I help you? But then it also shows and leverages how you can impact others. And that's the only way to truly grow, is putting God first, others second, and then yourself.
Yes, I agree 100%. And it's so funny. In closing, that's exactly what this podcast is about: life, leadership, and legacy. And so, in
Right.
closing, what does your life look like? Like, if you can go back in time, you know, what is the 5-year-old, right? Or the 17-year-old Yukara? What would you tell her? The life part and the leadership. What instructions would you give for others who want to get into, you know, who want to resemble what you're doing currently, you know, and legacy? What does your legacy look like? So let's start. What does the 17-year-old Ukura, what would you tell her today?
You got this. That you can show up in circles and that you've never been in before, and you belong there. That don't second guess yourself.
Awesome. I love that. Let's talk about leadership. as it relates to how you empower yourself and women around you? How does that look like?
Learning. I love to read. That's all. I mean, I read everything, all the way down to a label, right? Because I feel the more you absorb is the more you can grow, the more you can experience life and truly understand what's out there. The only downside is that you become a jack of all trades and a master of nothing, right? And so in that case, I would say, lead and learn with your passion so this way you can master an area. But truly continue learning, continue reading, read as much as you can, a book a week, even listening to, podcasts such as yours, or even Audible, or anything that can strengthen your knowledge and wisdom and experience.
I agree. I agree. Such as ours. This is our
Hours.
podcast.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I started this podcast with a colleague of mine, actually during the pandemic, and we wanted to create a platform where women can just talk organically, and we can just have conversations about different things, whatever is affecting us, in that day. And so
Yeah.
it has been beautiful to see, 3-4 years later,
Yeah, that's
how it has evolved.
wonderful.
Yes,
That's
yes,
wonderful. When you said episode 48, I was like, wow, that is magnificent. I love it. I love
yes,
it.
yes. A lot
I
of
think
work,
you're
a lot of
doing
grind.
wonderful things, wonderful things. And so with
Thank you.
our podcast, I love it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, in closing, you have a beautiful baby boy. You have a
Yes,
beautiful baby boy. So, you
yes,
are raising the next generation of leaders. What does
yes.
legacy look like for you, Cora?
Hmm. Partnering with him, and I say partner because as a parent, sometimes, we can instill what we want them to be, but then you already know
Yes,
they do what they want,
that's
such as
right.
myself when my mom tried, right? And so I partner with him to share what I've learned and hopefully help him to avoid those pitfalls and mistakes, and where he makes his own and learns from them rather quickly versus dragging it out over a span of time, so that he can become a leader in his own right and build his wealth so that he can give onto others for generations to come.
I love it. I love it. Oh
Thank you.
man, we could talk all day. No,
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you. Yes. Thank you so much for just availing yourself to an honest conversation. This was so powerful and so needed. Any last thoughts you have? Any last thing you'd like to share with the listeners?
Well,
Tips?
first, I want to say thank you, Carmisha. Thank you so much. This was a wonderful opportunity, and I love to collaborate with other women and leaders and, just giving back any way that I can. I know that it sounds cliche, but I truly love helping other people, and it makes me happy. And I know that at the end of the day, it is pleasing to God, and that's my sole purpose. So thank you
Yes.
so much again for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys, I'm so happy you listened all the way through. As I said, we have an amazing giveaway for you. So if you like this episode, and make sure you follow the Chop It Up podcast online, right, on Instagram and YouTube, and DM us. We have a Target giveaway gift card for you. Again, make sure you like and share this episode. Follow us on our platform, Instagram and YouTube, and you will be able to redeem a giveaway from Target. Ukura Hodge, Assistant Branch Manager of Island Federal Union. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so
Thank
much for your
you. Thank
time.
you so much.
Happy Women's History Month.
Yes.
Yes. Woo-hoo. Yes.
But thank you
All
so
right.
much. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye, you guys. See you on the next episode. Bye.